Hey everybody, this is Q Storm. Thank you for listening to the Red Shirts. Just a programming note, this episode was recorded right after the release of Despite Yourself, Season 1, Episode 10. Clearly, if you're still watching Star Trek Discovery, a lot has happened since then. We just had the episode Vaulting Ambition. If you'd like to hear our review of that, go over to YouTube and check out the Discovery channel on the Red Shirts YouTube page. And so without further ado, please feel free to enter our temporal causality loop. Grab a fresh bowl of Kelpian with ganglia on the side. You get to listen to all our predictions, which have already played out, and you get to see which of us are right and which of us are wrong. Of course, since I'm the captain, I'm always right. But anyway, enjoy the show.
The planet is restless, Captain. They want their podcast, and they shall have it. I'll beam down to the surface. You have the bridge. Captain, that is illogical. These are Trek fans. They will challenge and dissect your knowledge with great emotion. It is a mission fraught with danger, peril, and grave risk. Suggestions? Send in. The Red Shirts.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are reporting from the I.S.S. Internet. We are traveling throughout the galaxy, obliterating all whole planets.
Here we go.
Oh, yeah.
All right, before we get started, I want on the count of 3 to hear a rousing, hearty, hail, hail, Captain Q. 1, 2, 3.
Let's kill him.
Agreed.
Listen, I'll put
we are the Terrans. We rule with death.
I'll put in some work on both of y'all, like Mike did in the turbolift.
We'll put you in an agonizer chamber, so don't worry about that.
There it is. Okay. There it is.
I'll grab my Mr. Spock portable agonizer. How about that? All right, so listen, people out there listening, you probably got a sense of where we're going with this episode today. I am happy to report that Star Trek Discovery is back. I assume my crewmates are just as happy. Let's just get into it. Oh, really? Really?
Oh, you're the one way out front on this one, Q. You know this.
All right, well, listen, before we get into that debate, which I'm more than willing to have, Crewman Wiggins. Crewman
now.
Crewman Big Sexy. Well, crewman in the general sense that you're a member of the crew. All right, listen. All right, I'm going to put you at Ops today. How's that? Does that make you feel better? Ops?
Also, I no longer have a commission? I'm crewman now.
No, you have you're an Ops. I don't even know what that really means, but operations.
Yeah, so it's Ensign Chekhov.
And I'm going to put Craig J. I'm going to put him in stellar cartography.
Oh, I like that.
And well, the reason is because we had some Apple products installed there, and they're not working. So I'm going to need you to take care of that for me. Something about chips causing our data to get leaked, that kind of stuff. So that's that's your purview. So, but before we get started, Mr. Sexy.
Yes.
I hear you have some possibly juicy gossip from the Hollywood front that has something to do with Star Trek. Let's give.
Okay, for people who do not know, Michelle Williams, formerly of Dawson's Creek, way back in the day, and Mark Wahlberg are on a movie together. The name of the movie escapes me.
Wait a minute, hold. Wait. I love the fact that you referenced Michelle Williams from Dawson's Creek. The woman was in Brokeback Mountain. She won. She was nominated for a supporting Best Actress award, and you go to Dawson's Creek. Really?
Hey, I know what I saw. Okay.
But why don't just refresh us about the whole to do between her and Mark Wahlberg. What was that whole thing?
Well, there was a reshoot on the film that they're both in, and for Michelle, she wasn't going to be paid for it. Mark was going to be paid $1.5 million because of the contract he and WME had put together. But ironically, WME, William Morris Endeavor, also represents Michelle Williams, and they didn't put that clause in her contract for getting paid during reshoots. So a lot of people in today's climate are making this a gender pay gap issue, and it kind of is, but it's also kind of her agent dropped the ball. But that's neither here nor there. In response to this, all this outcry and discussion, Mark Wahlberg said, you know what? I'm going to donate my money to the Me Too movement. So he did. Gave it away. In response to this, Michelle Williams put out a tweet that says, and I quote, "Today isn't about me. My fellow actresses stood by me and stood up for me. My activist friends taught me to use my voice. And the most powerful men in charge, they listened and they acted. If we truly envision an equal world, it takes an equal effort and sacrifice. Today is one of the most indelible days of my life because of Mark Wahlberg, William Morris Endeavor, and the community of women and men who share in this accomplishment." Here's where you pay attention, Q. "Anthony Rapp, for all the shoulders you stood on, now we stand on yours." Wow.
Okay. Well, you know what's interesting? How did she bring Anthony Rapp into this? I mean, I know Anthony Rapp was he came out and said, talked about some things that happened in the past that got was it Kevin Spacey that?
Yep.
Yeah. I wonder why she singled him out. I mean, it was a legitimate citation, but I wonder why she went with Anthony Rapp, who's a little less known.
Well, maybe she knows him. Maybe, they work together.
Yeah, okay, yeah, true. Wow, so, and I know Anthony Rapp is very vocal on Facebook and Twitter. Last week he liked one of our tweets. So, very cool. Okay. Man, this Me Too thing it's really taking some steam, huh? I mean, how long has it been?
I don't want to hijack the show, but on that subject, Q, man, the Me Too thing has really gotten a lot of momentum because another actor has gotten caught up in it too.
Who?
Aziz Ansari.
Okay, well.
Did you read that piece on him?
I did, but you know what? He's not really Star Trek related, so.
No, he's not. We'll leave him alone.
I thought you were going to say William Shatner, and my heart was going to sink. Oh, man, it's just a matter of time. I just get a feeling it's a matter of time.
Nah.
But you know what? Sulu seemed like he came out unscathed because they kind of dropped that whole thing against him. I haven't heard anything about Sulu lately. Have any of you?
What thing about him? What did they do to Sulu?
He got accused of Takei. His name got dragged into this for
You better leave George alone.
You heard this, right? It was on Craig, you heard this, right?
I did. I forget who accused him and what they accused him of, but yes, it disappeared very quickly. It seems like it was a false accusation, maybe.
It was.
Exactly.
They were talking about, as far as I could tell, about his antics on the Howard Stern show, where these men would expose themselves voluntarily, and the game was about grabbing their private parts. So it was all voluntary. It's nothing I would take place in, whether male or female, but it was all voluntary. So I don't know if that's why it lost steam, but...
Well, it should have gained any steam because it's on Howard Stern.
Well, there's that. But anyway, okay. So there we have it. Anthony Rapp is still repping, and he's still doing his thing on Discovery. Speaking of which, okay, Discovery is back. Did you both see last week's episode?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Let's get right into it. What'd you think?
Awesome episode.
I gotta tell you, initially I'm like, oh man, wait, are we spoiling?
Oh, dude, the new episode's coming on tonight as of this recording. So yeah, they had 7 days. Yeah.
Okay. When I'm watching it, my first reaction was like, oh, here we go. Let's rip off the Mirror Universe. Yeah. And then in the last 10 minutes, it all went left. I'm like, okay, we got a problem now.
Now, what are you referring to specifically? Because I thought it went left as soon as the credits went up. The first opening credits went up.
The first thing that went left for me, my initial left turn, was, and I forget my man's name, the guy they rescued, the security dude, the beard.
The guy they rescued.
Who's messing with
Ash Tyler.
Ash. When it turns out Ash has been compromised, I'm like, okay, we got a problem. Then near the end, where they, allegedly or ostensibly killed the doctor, I'm like, oh no, this is not good.
Yeah, Okay, go ahead. I'm gonna take that off the table for now. But go ahead.
You know, because I liked the Doctor, and they just did him, and they came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I'm like, we got a problem here. This is gonna get good.
Go ahead, Craig. What do you think?
No, I was just agreeing that it is going to get good. I can't wait for tonight's episode. And plus, by the way, Tilly is very sexy.
Oh my God!
All I can say about that.
Here we go.
You want to talk about top makeovers, dude?
Wow.
Hashtag me too. I'm gonna say it right now before I say anything else.
Oh Lord.
Man, Tilly, she used to get on my nerves. I thought she was corny, but god damn.
You compared her to Neelix. Come on, man.
No comparison.
No, I don't know if I went that far. Did I?
Yeah.
Wow.
You did.
Okay, if I did, I apologize. Because I like I said in my individual review of the episode, she needs to wear her hair longer more often.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know what? Big Sexy, you bring up a good point. I'm conflicted. This Star Trek series, they've raised the stakes. It's much more realistic. It's much more gut punch. It feels like Star Trek without all of the idealism, which I don't necessarily have a problem with. But one of the things that made Star Trek is that the characters, your main crew, they were like your family. And this Star Trek, boy, they don't give a about your family. You know, okay, I've accepted the Klingons. I've accepted the uniforms, which we've never seen before. I've accepted the technology, because I have a rationalization for that. But to be killing off these characters, I don't care if you kill off Landry, even though I like that character, the Hispanic security officer that they killed off early on with the tardigrade.
Yeah.
But, you know, Colbert, I was just getting to like, I was really not just getting to like him, but I liked him all along, but he was just starting to develop as a character. And, you know, we see him in love with another person on the crew. He's starting to develop a character, and they kill him off. And I'm thinking if they make this a dream sequence or something like that, or alternate timeline, or a time, some type of time manipulation, that might be kind of lame. So I don't know. Do you think I just think the writers have written themselves into a corner here? What do you guys think? I mean, I just hate to see that he's dead.
I don't think they've written themselves into a corner. I think that they are obviously showing us that what we thought in the beginning is not necessarily the case. Maybe the universe that we originally saw Discovery in is also an alternative universe, and now they're in the original series mirror universe. And I think they've got lots of things to play with. You know, maybe the original characters that were killed off are still alive in this universe, and maybe they'll cross back over. I think there's tons of things they can do with it.
Well,
agreed.
I have to say, I never was a big fan of the Mirror Universe, even when it debuted on TOS, and I
loved it.
Well, I don't remember it that well. I have to watch the episode again. I have seen it, but it's been years and years and years. But in general, they brought back the Mirror Universe in DS9. And I just felt the same way about that as I felt about the concept in TOS. In TOS, I mean, let's be honest, TOS, as great and brilliant as it is, it's part of its allure, at least to me, is its cheesiness and how kitschy it is. And so the Mirror Universe story works fine for TOS when I feel we weren't as sophisticated an audience as we are today, because all that was new back in the 60s. But when I saw it on DS9, it became clear to me, even more so, that the Mirror Universe is just a way for the writers to give the audience something to say, oh, wow, these characters, it's so cool seeing them be badasses and seeing them be the opposite of themselves. It's just a corny gimmick. And so...
Actually, I think they explored it in Enterprise as well.
That's true. That's true.
But the thing is, we don't have to worry about the DS9 stories that happened then, because this story takes place before all of that. So we really actually only have to care about the stuff that occurred that we know about in the Mirror episode, and also the Tholian Web, which of course that's when the Defiant got pushed into the Mirror Universe, which is how it shows up in Discovery. So that's all we have to care about.
Well, and what I was going to say, having said all that, I love this mirror universe.
They just don't have goatees, right?
Right.
Exactly.
Well, wait a minute. I think in the previews, didn't we see Sarek with a goatee?
Maybe.
I think we did. But I'm just saying, this mirror universe, other than the whole Hail Burnham, Hail Captain, and the goofy,
I love that.
the goofy looking Flash Gordon uniforms and Buck Rogers chest plates. This is the first time I felt like they were doing something that had stakes in the mirror universe. I felt dread. I felt suspense. I love how for the first 20 or so minutes, you don't meet anybody from the mirror universe. And so me as an audience member, at least, my mind is filling in those blanks with dread and fear as I see this crew. They have to strategize. How are we gonna present ourselves? We can't blow our cover. This is a fascistic society, and I really felt tense, and I've never felt that way with any other mirror universe episode in Star Trek. It always felt like, let's just do this really cool thing where we can make these actors can act counter to what their characters typically are, and it'll be fun. I like the fact that this is not fun; it's serious.
Yeah,
and I'll tell you,
I know what
the
you mean.
agonizers. I don't remember that from the original episode. I have to watch the original again.
I do. I remember those.
They do speak about them. So they spoke about the agonizer chambers, but the only thing you see is the portable agonizer, which is what Spock puts on one of the crew members. So you definitely see that.
Did they throw Chekhov in the?
Yeah, apparently they
agonizer?
did. Yes, apparently they did. But now I forgive me for not remembering your name, whoever this listener is, but he responded either on our Facebook page or our YouTube page that he thinks that because you brought up the whole portable triangular agonizers, Craig. He says that in the episode Letha, I still don't know how to pronounce that. I gotta get on top of that. But when he and Captain Lorca and Cornwell are in the bedroom together and his shirt is off, that you could spot a triangular mark or whelp on his back. So he suggested. I have to go back and look at. And that's one of my least favorite episodes, but I got to go relook at it anyway to check this. He suspects that our Lorca is actually from the mirror universe.
Yeah,
and that he set up Stamets to bring the Discovery back to his home universe. Now, I don't know how that works. I don't know how Lorca would have controlled where the spore drive would have brought them. But
you remember, I think you pointed it out, that when we watched the season, well, it was episode 8 of Discovery, the mid-season finale, there was a quick flash where the screen said Lorca override.
Right.
Remember that?
I do. But see, now, the only thing I took from that was that Lorca wanted to use the spore drive again for whatever purpose. But I guess it makes sense. For what purpose could it have been? Could it have been to bring them to the mirror universe? It's possible. It's intriguing. But then I got to wonder, well, how could he have known how to set those coordinates? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That whole premise is kind of just blowing my mind, so I don't know. But I didn't even notice a little triangular shaped doohickey on them, but
I didn't either. But
let's find out where it goes, man. Because this is something that's happening in this episode tonight, actually, that I don't see where they're going to go with it. Because sometimes you have an idea what's going to happen, but because the show is new, you don't know who is safe.
Excellent
or who's gonna make it? Like when they killed Tasha Yar in Next Generation, no one saw that coming.
Nope.
So I don't know, man.
I think we were happy about it, but we didn't see it coming. Anyway, but no, you make an excellent point. This is so new, and it's also kind of one of the problems I have. Even though I enjoyed the episode, it's like this is new to us. Even though it's Star Trek, this presentation of Star Trek is so new. It's very, and Craig, you'll like this reference. It's very Lost. It's like Lost to me, where they throw so much stuff at us in the first season. They've thrown so much stuff at us in the first 8 episodes. I don't want them to spend the next 6 episodes in the mirror universe because they have so much stuff already set up that could be paid off.
Yeah,
And
I
now
agree with that.
you know what I mean? And now they're introducing the mirror universe. I mean, I just want to see 1 or 2 episodes, then done. That's all I want to see.
So I
So,
don't want to see it for a couple of years. Yeah.
right, yeah. But in regards to Lorca, I mean, do you think that why would he want to go back if he's going to get tortured? You know what I'm saying? If he, let's say he is from the mirror universe, why would he want to go back there if he's a renegade?
Well, if he's a renegade, he's going back for a reason.
Yeah,
so
agreed.
there's something there he needs for once.
I agree.
I wonder what that could be. Now here's another headbuster for you guys. Who do you think? And Mark, I know you're gonna love this. I said this in the episode review. You know, in terms of hearing the words rebels and then hearing the word emperor, I'm like, dudes,
Yeah.
leave that franchise over there.
Yeah, you want to stay away from that. Yeah.
That franchise has lost its steam as far as I'm concerned. I don't want to. But since they presented that to us, Mike brings up the point about, you know, the emperor of this universe is savage. Now, I started thinking, who could the emperor be? And I'm betting it's Philippa Georgiou. What do you guys got?
Ooh.
Wouldn't that
It's an
be
interesting theory.
Now? Do they explain why she's not captain of the Shinjo?
No.
Could it be because she got elevated into, maybe at the Battle of the Binary Stars, she kicked some ass and they're like, we're going to promote you to emperor.
Well, first of all, in that universe, they don't promote. You just kind of take it.
Yeah, good point.
So maybe she just took it.
Craig,
Wow.
you got anything on that, Craig?
No, nothing. It's a great theory. She's missing. She's not the captain, so she's somewhere doing something.
Well,
That's for sure.
I thought it was a great episode. I thought it was a great way to start the new, what do you call it, the second chapter. I think they're calling it chapter 2 for whatever reason. The other thing I liked about it, not only did they present a mirror universe that held some weight for me, but I love the fact that they made Tilly an interesting character to me. They somehow they managed to write in moments of tension. The humor that they interjected, it worked, and I was blown away by how I liked that.
It did work.
Big Sexy, you know, I'm not the easiest guy to please.
No.
That came out the wrong way, actually.
I think.
Well,
the reason I think it worked, I would have to say the reason I think it worked is because she's a good actress. She sold it. I don't think many other actresses could do what she did, make a humorous statement, and in a very serious moment like that. She was very good. The whole thing about ripping out your tongue and licking her boots with it, you know, think about that.
You know what?
She did pull it off.
When she said that with that long hair and the bustier, you know, propping herself up, I found myself a little turned on. I have to say.
You kept saying in your head, my tongue.
Okay. Anyway, so let me ask you. We got 6 episodes left. You know, I'm going to use one of my big words, a paucity of episodes until we have to wait until either the latter end of this year or freaking next year, which I have a problem with. I understand it, still have a problem with it. What do you guys want to see before they wrap up this first season? What are some of the answers that you need to have before they wrap up this first season?
The clear answer is that there's Ash. We got to figure that out.
Oh, we didn't even talk about Ash. Oh my God.
Well, I mean, I think it was pretty well established that he is a Klingon, right? It's pretty well established that he was a Klingon. He was cut down to human size and put on the Enterprise. I mean, on Discovery.
Well, no, wait. Now, see, you made me think of something. So in our, I want to say Berman era, with those Klingons, not even Berman era, but from the motion picture to Voyager, the Klingons are relatively human size. So I guess the other change that they've done with these Klingons on Discovery is that they're larger than humans in general. Because like you just said, they had to cut them down. Or am I?
And they also had to remove, obviously, the ridges and apparently change around some internal organs and things.
But the thing is that in you know, like TNG, DS9, they would have these racial operations with no problem. Like when your girl, I'm drawing up. Deanna Troi had to infiltrate the Romulan spaceship.
Oh yeah, that was a great episode.
You know,
yeah.
they did that all the time, where they would have surgical alterations.
Kirk did that when he was a Romulan. Yeah.
So why? I wonder why they chose to go this, gruesome surgery route to have to do that for Discovery for this series.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you also remember in Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country, Bones, we spoke about this, he didn't understand the Klingon anatomy. So it seems like it was more complicated than just putting appendages or apparatus on your body to make you look like a Klingon.
I guess. Yeah. I guess you wanted to go deeper with it or something, or make him a completely different person, or...
I think that's the idea, right? Because there's that scene where he cannot remember who he is, and she keeps saying to him, "You know who you are," and obviously when he kills the Doctor, he remembers, or something sparked in his brain that he's not supposed to be being friendly with these people. Well, there's a plan. There's a plan that he's acting out, and the Doctor stood in the way of the plan at that point.
What was he demanding of the Doctor at that point? I forget.
I think the way I read it was, obviously he's got these implanted memories, and his original self is in his brain somewhere, but he can't access it.
Right.
So he's trying to understand what it is. When the Doctor tells him, "No, you can't go back on duty because we're not sure who you are," he's like, "Oh, I need to stop this." So.
Right. So now the question is, we can relatively confidently assume he's a Klingon, so we can assume thereby that he is Vok. Is that correct?
I think so.
Otherwise, why would L'Rell be in love with him so much, right?
Mm-hmm. And so obviously he was planted in the Klingon prisoner ship, so that he could meet Lorca and Mudd, and so that was a whole ruse, obviously, that the Klingons set up. It was a whole ruse, and they let them escape and everything.
I'm glad you mentioned Mudd. I got to tell you, going back to Mudd briefly, I didn't care for the way he was portrayed at all, and I'm good without seeing him again for a while.
You talking about?
He's a bit bloodthirsty in this iteration.
He is, yeah.
That's not how Mudd is.
Well, maybe
that's the mirror universe Mudd.
Or maybe Mudd got his ass handed to him a couple too many times, and the next time we see him, he's like, you know what? Let me just slow my roll. Let me just stay in my lane.
Maybe.
When did we see him again? When did we first see him in original series? Is it it's not the Tribbles episode.
No, I think it was Mudd's Women.
Yeah. Or I Mudd. I know there was an episode called I Mudd.
I thought the Tribbles episode was the first time we saw him, and then he showed up in a couple of others later on. I thought it was in that order.
I thought it was Mudd's Women. We had all the androids on that one universe, or that one planet. And one of them was his ex-wife.
Given Captain Kirk, it sounds like the writers would have come up with Mudd's Women before anything else.
Right.
So yeah, man. This episode did show us a lot of reveals, and I got to tell you, I don't know how you guys felt, but that last shot of Lorca screaming in the agonizer, man, that has stuck with me. That was
crazy.
I mean, I thought that was pushing the envelope for letting kids watch. I mean, hearing these blood-curdling screams, I mean...
They're already dropping F-bombs, so it's cool. You know going in what you're going to get.
You know, it's funny. I didn't mind my 11-year-old hearing that. And I think Tilly says asshole in this episode, doesn't she?
Yeah.
But
you're forgetting one more. You're forgetting one last reveal that happened on that episode.
Oh, wait. Don't tell me. What was it? I don't remember. What was the reveal?
The USS Defiant.
Oh!
Come on. And it's actually a modified... I read somewhere that the writers confirmed that what you see on the tactical screen is the USS Defiant, but they've modified it in the mirror universe now to make it better. So if you look at it, it's got weird cutouts in the disc section and so on.
So, originally I thought that the Defiant, I don't know why I thought this, because I rewatched the episode and it wasn't the case. I thought it was the mirror universe version of the Defiant. But this is the Defiant that got sucked into from the Prime universe, right? Yes,
from the Tholian Web episode.
Yeah, it's not the good Defiant.
So
it is a good Defiant. It's the USS Defiant, but the mirror universe took it and modified it But if you remember in the Tholian web, the USS Defiant got sucked into the. Well, they never really said it was the mirror universe, but they said it was another universe.
So do you think this Defiant, knowing that it's from the Prime universe, do you think that this crew is still kind of playing subterfuge, or have they been found out, they've been killed or whatever, and this Defiant has been taken over by mirror universe people?
Well, I don't know, because if you watch Tholian web, the entire crew of the USS Defiant is dead. They've all killed themselves. So I don't think it had a crew.
Right, but aren't they trying to get onto the Defiant to find out how they got there so they can get back?
Yes. Yeah, they beamed over, and when it got time to beam back, they can only beam back 3 people. So Kirk stayed behind, so he got lost for the entire episode.
Right, but what I'm saying, for Discovery though, they're trying to get over to this Defiant, right?
Yes, yeah, they are.
So they're gonna beam over to a ship that is hostile towards them just as well.
Right.
So it's interesting, but the one thing about this is that it proves that this Discovery takes place in the Prime TOS universe. Am I correct?
I think so.
So now, what the writers have to do is explain to me. Now, I have a rationalization. They need to explain how Discovery crew and the crew of the Gagarin, the Shenzhou, the Glenn, I think there's one other ship we've been introduced to, why they have different uniforms, why they have all this technology that we never saw on the Enterprise or any other ships, how that coexists. And I'm just going to go with, all that stuff did exist. Holodecks did exist, rudimentary versions. And all of this technology did exist, but it just was only on this class of ship. It wasn't on the Constitution class ships or any of the other ships in the TOS series or the Voyager, TNG, DS9, or even Enterprise series. Does that work for you guys? This brand of starship, they had different uniforms, and they were just more advanced than our beloved Enterprise. Does that work?
I'll try anything once, yeah.
I actually think that even it is the original series timeline, but it could just be an alternative universe, not the mirror universe, just another universe. That works for me, because everything is way too different.
Well, I'm still holding out that we're going to see some Berman Klingons. And I also had this theory that I don't think it works. Just go with me. Feel free to tear it apart. So, we know that Mike gives it up to Ash.
Will you get a grip?
What a waste. Is it possible? Because I don't think 10 years is enough. Let's say 15 years or 20 years is enough time to propagate a species or a different strain of a species. But maybe Ash and Mike are going to have a kid that's going to turn out to be the new version of Klingon, the version of Klingons we're familiar with. Does that work in any way, shape, or form? That's
an interesting idea there, Mike. I like that.
I don't know if it works, though. Because in this timeline, in this point in time, we should be looking at Klingons that have no ridges at all. Right?
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that works. I don't know how that works. Unless they're going to get, unless Ash and Mike give birth to that type of Klingon, and then it evolves from there. That's possible.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay.
Interesting theory.
Well, Big Sexy, you're a lawyer. That's the closest thing we have to a biologist. What do you think?
Wow.
Yeah. I don't even know how to answer that.
Okay. Do you like the captain's theory or not?
For today, I will follow the captain.
Wow, okay.
I've never been a fan of the ridges. I mean, I like it how they did it in Next Generation, but again, it needs to be explained to me. And there's no definitive explanation of this.
We also saw in Trials and Tribulations from DS9 that they kind of explain, or at least they acknowledge that there's two different types of Klingons, right?
Yeah.
So now they got to explain why there's a third strain of Klingon,
It's like it's a virus, man.
And they got to explain why these Klingons on Discovery talk like they have a bunch of potatoes in their mouths. It was funny because when Ash was talking, as you know, in his human self, he was very clear, very articulate. Then when she said that when Laurel said that Klingon prayer, then potatoes started cropping up in his mouth. I'm like, dude, what's it? I guess these Klingons have reflux or something. I don't know. You know what else I thought was funny? Not funny, but interesting is that the Klingon names, they seem more like Vulcan names, don't they? If you think about the names that we're used to, like Worf, Moog, what's Worf's brother's name? I forget his name.
Kern. His brother? Kern, yeah.
Kern. What and the badass dude on DS9 with one eye. I can't think of his name either.
General Martok?
Martok, yes. Those names have very harsh consonants on them, and they're very short and specific. As specific as a name could be. But they have a very harsh, strong pronunciation about them. Whereas these Klingons, Laurel, that sounds more Vulcan to me. I guess Valk is kind of harsh, but it still sounds like when you think of Spock, it has a more of a Vulcan sound to it.
Yeah, you're right. Like Tikuvna sounds very Klingon. It sounds very Vulcan to me. You're right.
Yeah, it does.
It does. Yeah. Anyway, just a
interesting.
nitpick. But you know, before they wrap up this season, I really want them to put to rest that, you know, explain why they have different uniforms, and I want them to go to the Defiant and possibly give us evidence that these other uniforms did exist, whether they have the crew that was there from the Prime universe. I assume they didn't, because one of you said they all killed themselves in the Tholian Web episode. But maybe they find some uniforms of some dead crew members, you know, lying about her, and they are the traditional polo shirts with the black slacks. I want to see that. I don't expect them to make the bridge as rudimentary as we saw on TOS, but I really want it dumbed down so that it doesn't look more advanced than what we have on Discovery. And then you know, I want them to resolve Ash. I want to know. I don't necessarily need to know what's going on with Stamets just yet. I'm cool with that. But I want to know if Culber's really dead. I mean,
yeah, I know.
That's gonna. Listen, this is a progressive show. It's gotten a lot of accolades for depicting its progressivism. So to kill off 50% of a progressive couple on the show after getting so much applause, I think they might be opening themselves up to a little bit of pushback. I mean, they have the right to do what they want to do, but why put yourself in that position?
Yeah, maybe we'll find out more information tonight. Hopefully they'll explore the Defiant angle a little bit more.
I certainly hope so. And I remember there was a quick shot of Ash and Mike. They was naked up in the bedroom again.
Okay.
And I'm like, listen, don't tease me. Just give me what I want to know. I don't want to see Mike getting hurt. He ain't no good for you, Mike. That man ain't no good for you. I done said it. He's putting notches on his bedpost talking about kapla. So just stop it.
No, it's actually picked up a lot of momentum in the last, like 20 minutes of that episode, though. It really did. Because it went from being a little bit of, to me, okay, we've seen this before. Then it all just went a whole new direction. And now I'm actually excited about tonight's episode.
I am too. And you know what? There's no doubt about Michael Burnham's combat capability, man.
Oh, Michael can go.
She put some of that work in on that dude on that turbo lift. But I wanted to say this also. It's just, I mean, Mike, to me, she's like a ticking time bomb. Again, even though Davette C, our guest from Black Girl Nerd, she disagreed with me. She felt like, and when we were talking about Mike's mutiny, you know, I thought that it was because, you know, she was experiencing a little bit of a PTSD episode, just a flashback episode, acting out. Whereas Davette thought, you know, that she was acting in the best interest of her crew, and both are legitimate. But if you go with my theory, I think it makes her even more vulnerable because now she had to kill a guy who was her friend that she possibly holds herself responsible for his death at the Battle of the Binary Stars where he was killed. So she has to kill him, and you saw that anguish on her face when she stabs him in the turbo lift. Then she has to walk out of the turbo lift and sit herself on her captain's chair and pretend she's the captain of the Shenzhou. That's got to really mess with her. And I think in some of the previews, we see her say something like, is this what we're going to become? Is this what are we going to become from this? Or something like that. So, man, her character's going to be one to watch. I just want to see how the writers handle that. I mean, it's a brilliant conflict as far as I'm concerned.
It is. It's great.
But all right, so we're going to move to another brilliant presentation. Not of Star Trek, but something. Big Sexy, you might know. How did Jamie Foxx say that joke he does about Whitney Houston and the crackish, that joke? She may not be on crack, but she crackish.
She got something cooking.
God rest her soul. That's kind of what we're going to be talking about now. Something that's not really Star Trek, but it's Star Trek-ish. And that would be the Black Mirror episode, the Season 4, Episode 1 of Black Mirror, entitled CALLISTER, starring the one and only, the great Meth Damon. You know that from that reference from Big Sexy?
I do not know that one, actually. I know. Okay. I'll take my demerit.
Let me just explain. Jesse Plemons, I believe the actor's name is. I first saw him on Breaking Bad, where he was a neo-Nazi meth dealer. And he looks incredibly like Matt Damon. Hence the name Meth Damon. Okay, I'll just insert crickets here. Anyway.
Well, that's clever.
So you guys both saw this episode, right? What did you think of this episode?
I think I had too many expectations for it, but I was a little bit underwhelmed by it, to tell you the truth. No, really.
Really?
Because he created Star Trek inside of his simulation, but ultimately the episode wasn't really about that. It wasn't actually a Star Trek episode or a homage to Star Trek. It was a part of the story for sure, but I wasn't amazed by that episode. That's just me.
I gotta disagree with that a little bit.
All right.
I thought it was definitely an homage to Star Trek, primarily because it was a simulation. This guy wrote this program because he wanted to be on Star Trek.
Right.
And so he wrote it as close to the original series as he could. You know, made himself the captain and getting all the tail like Kirk. He had a green chick on there, and no, this was a good.
Actually, she was blue. She was blue.
That's why I said he had a blue chick on there. Who turned out to be fun when she took that blue off too.
Yeah. No, wait a minute. Which character was she when she took the blue off? I forget. Was she one of his co-workers?
They all were.
I know, but I don't remember which. I never could determine which co-worker was the blue woman. But anyway.
I think she was the blonde at the end.
Yeah, okay.
But I don't remember seeing her in The Office, though, you're right. But I thought it was well done, and it was definitely an homage to Star Trek.
I absolutely loved it. I thought it was a great take on Star Trek. And to be clear, it was not Star Trek in the context of the episode. It was, I think it was called Space Trek or something like that. Or something like you might find in a Mad Magazine parody or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it was called, his ship was called the I.S.S. CALLISTER, so it was definitely it was supposed to be Star Trek. They just did not use that. But as you pointed out, he still had the blue alien, and he had the people wearing the same color uniforms and this kind of stuff in it. I totally get. I love that part of it. Don't get me wrong, but the story itself was a different story, really, and the simulation was a great homage, but it was not really the meaning of the story. You know what I mean? You
would have preferred if the narrative itself, the entire narrative, were set in a Star Trek-like environment.
I don't think so, because that's really not what Black Mirror is about. It's not about that. So, no, I don't think so. Maybe I think it was too much hype for me. It was overhyped in my mind about what it was going to be. And then when I watched it, I was like, well, okay, it was cool that they had that thing where they're wearing the same uniforms and they had the blue alien and this kind of stuff. But I don't know.
Well, I kind of got to stick you in an agonizer and ask you under duress, why do you like the Orville so much, given your explanation why you didn't like this?
Oh, well, the Orville is a whole different story. It's literally Star Trek: The Next Generation with a different crew and that kind of thing. That is an homage to Star Trek, definitely. That's my take on it. Orville.
Well, I don't know. To me, I think if you're going to do an homage to Star Trek, this is one of the best ways you could do it. And plus, it's one and done. It's like you're not trying to make a buck ripping off somebody else's IP.
Right.
But, I think what made the episode, and honestly, let me back up a sec. I hear where you're coming from, Craig, honestly. When they cut from the bridge to the office, I was like, oh, what? Come on, what is this? Come on, now, one of these, is this misdirection again? I thought this was a Star Trek episode, and I thought it was going to be like I thought you were wanting it to be. I thought it was going to be just some Black Mirror elements in the future, so that the story takes place actually on a starship, and we see some Black Mirror Twilight Zone elements.
Right.
But as the B, I'm going to call it the B plot, where he in the real world moved forward, I found myself more and more engaged and wanted to know what was going on. And the way they weaved the two together, I was like, okay, bring it on. I'm loving this. The one thing that was weird is that, Big Sexy, help me out here. Tell me what you think. Even though I did care about the jeopardy that the characters in the I'm going to call it the Matrix, the Star Trek Matrix, I couldn't care as much as I thought I would want to, because I knew that their real life versions were living their real lives. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because there was really no threat of danger. The stakes weren't that high.
The stakes weren't that high for the actual human beings. So I think if there's one flaw, I'd say they could have gotten me more invested in these simulacrum characters of the humans, the actual humans, make me more emotionally invested in them. Which, after a certain while, I did get, but it was a slow burn. And I'll say this. Go ahead.
I was just going to say the reason he put them in there is because they were all horrible to him in the real life, excepting for the last employee that came in. She wasn't nasty to him, but all the rest were. They were very nasty to him. So I actually didn't care about them that much. I only cared about her, the last one that came in there.
But the woman from Chewing Gum, the actress Michaela something or other, the African, I think she's from Ghana. I can't remember. But she wasn't mean to him, was she? Oh, wait a minute. He overheard a conversation that she was having with the last woman that came on, and she wasn't very flattering, right? Yeah.
So then you could intimate that she had been that way. And, of course, his boss, too. I mean, he was a real
Yeah, boss one.
But maybe, now see, that's interesting, Craig, because I could see that. You kind of present the counter to what I just said. If the actual humans had been brought into this world, then I could kind of see that. But since these were innocent, DNA clones, if you will, they didn't really carry over that animosity that they had for him, right?
No, I think they did, and that's the whole thing, is that he, for example, changed the one woman into the monster on the planet, and he tortured all of them because of how horrible they were to him in the real life.
Right, but what I'm saying is these characters in his Matrix, they weren't mean to him. They were just clones that had no idea.
No, they were clones, but they were clones as of the time that he cloned them. So they had all the memories. They had all the memories of what they were doing before, what they did before.
Okay.
Isn't that the case? I thought it was, because he specifically tortured them to make them subdued.
No, you might be right. I don't know. I have to watch it again. I guess I assumed that they were brought onto the starship. And they were like had no clue why. Oh, maybe you're right. No, they did have memories, because the one character, what's his name, Walton, the guy who owned the company, he talks about when he brought his son into work.
Right.
So, yeah,
That's right.
Okay, I guess you have a point. But I still felt bad for them. And let me just say, that actor, I don't know his name, he's also in Westworld. That guy he's awesome as an actor.
He is.
Because we saw him in Westworld play kind of like the innocent straight man to his friend's asshole. And in here, he plays 3 different personalities. He plays goofy and humorous, which he does just to get along with the captain. Then all of a sudden, on a dime, he turns into the most sympathetic character of the bunch and becomes the hero. Mm-hmm. And I don't know that actor's name, but whenever his name comes up, I got to watch. So, yeah, I was blown away by him.
You're right about that.
Enjoying Westworld?
Westworld is awesome.
No.
No, come on. Come on.
I thought it was so boring.
Okay, good. It wasn't just me. Okay.
Not going to be boring. It's a great story. It's a
great film. The series,
Craig, I'm sorry, man. I sat through it on purpose because I wanted to see what everyone else saw. Maybe 3 episodes grabbed me, but it's just too slow. Would you agree? Would you agree it's slow?
Oh, yes.
A little bit, but I think if you watch each episode, the story arc goes through each episode. So there's always quite a bit in each episode that tells the story at the end. When you get to the end, you understand.
Well, not that this is Star Trek related, but we'll spend a couple seconds on this. At the end, I'm spoiling. At the end, okay, if I'm not mistaken, basically what do they call them? Androids? What do they call them? They take over the park, right?
No, they don't.
I thought there was like a fair or a festival, and the woman that we're meant to identify, not identify with, but the main woman who, I can't remember her name, but you know the woman who sees her husband get shot on the porch. She's standing on the stage and she holds out a gun and looks like she's about to shoot people in the audience, visitors to the park. So I took that as they're taking over the park. No,
she only shot him though. I forget his name now. The main actor. I'm forgetting his name, but she only shot him, and she was supposed to. So right at the end, it's very clear that they were basically living out a storyline for one of the people that was in the park. But there are certain things that are happening behind the scenes, like the one android gets loose into the real world now. So that storyline.
Oh yeah. Well, that's a good point. That's a.
But they were basically So they're basically telling a story. They're basically living out a storyline there. I was fascinated by it. It's definitely, and the funny thing is they had a little homage to the original movie as well. Cool in the one scene there. So because if you remember correctly, they still have the old Westworld park, and all of the old Westworld robots are there, androids. They're all still there underground, and the one shot they show Yul Brynner's character just standing in the corner there. Very, very cool.
Okay, so all right, listen, Big Sexy, can you turn down the agonizer on Craig, because clearly he's delirious, and he's continuing to talk about Westworld.
Back to Star Trek.
Wow.
No, listen, I respect the fact that you now Big Sexy will tell you the old Q. I used to rip people apart for not sharing my opinions.
Used to.
Yeah, but listen, I blame myself for not liking the show. I mean, we are mature enough that we should be able to appreciate something that's good and appreciate a slow build. I just don't. To me, it's just too slow. I mean, like, I appreciate Star Trek: The Motion Picture. Anyone will tell you I think that's a slow-moving film.
It is, yeah.
But I like it. But maybe it's because I don't like. I like westerns, and I think there's not enough. I want to see the archetypal westerns where you got the guy walking into the bar, and the saloon doors swing, and there's a shootout, there's a poker player, there's a brothel. I said it. You know, there's a marm, there's a school marm.
School marm.
Yeah.
Oh God.
There's a train coming through, or there's a stagecoach that someone has to. This is what I like. These are the westerns I like.
I hate westerns, by the way, and the only western I've ever liked is Back to the Future Part 3. It's the only one I could tolerate, because there was a DeLorean in it, so they made it cool.
Anyway, I want to tell you, go watch. Now, I should say the original, because remakes. It's kind of blasphemous to say watch a remake before you see the original. Go watch Christian Bale's 3:10 to Yuma, and tell me you don't like that movie.
I'll try and drag myself over to watch that.
Watch True Grit. You can watch True Grit. The who's the actor? The more current actor?
Josh Brolin?
Jeff Bridges.
Jeff Bridges.
Watch that. Tell me you didn't like that.
Fair enough.
Okay. All right. We kind of went off the rails there. But let me ask you guys this question: after we get done with this, with Chapter 2 of Discovery, are you guys gonna be like some bootleg people and like I'm gonna be, and get rid of CBS All Access until whenever you hear Discovery's coming back on? It's kind of like wearing a shirt for a dinner party and then taking that joint back the next day.
Damn, Q, you're that guy, huh?
I'm not saying I've done that. But I will take some stuff back without a receipt. I'll tell you that much. Anyway, what are you guys gonna do? Are you gonna stick with it, or?
Well, first of all, I don't have it. I've been getting mine from alternate means, so I'm good.
Bootlegging.
Wait, whoa. Bootlegging is an ugly term here. I'm getting it from an alternative source, and that's that.
Okay, I'm just gonna come on and say it. What is your alternative source? Since you've already revealed if the FBI's listening, they're coming to knock down your door any second. You might as well tell us the source.
Well, not without a warrant. And anyway, I digress. I get mine through Fire Stick.
You and I have to have an offline conversation. Because listen, I'm going to say it, and one of our compatriots, I won't put his name out there, but he told me about this thing called Easy News, which I've been subscribing to.
Ah, yes.
I think it's $11 a month, and I believe you can download Discovery from that.
Oh, I'm sure you can.
The only issue is that you have to do it the day after,
Oh, no, I get mine day off.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Can you go in a little bit of detail about that?
Should we be telling people how to rip off CBS at this point?
Hey, whoa. This is not a how-to forum on skullduggery. No.
Okay.
This is strictly a discussion on computer technology.
Ah, right. Fair enough.
That's the attorney talking.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Now, with the Amazon Fire Stick, which allows people to, use their TV as like a Roku box and whatnot, the software that is included with it has a program called Exodus on it. Now, I have downloaded Exodus for one of my laptops and use it on a laptop, and it allows me to get into that universe of alternate programming. It's really not that hard.
Do you pay a subscription for that?
I didn't hear you.
Okay. Were you just... Wait a minute. Were you just on your Captain Sulu? Inform Starfleet that we have no known whereabouts of the Enterprise. You haven't heard problems.
That was Spock, right? He was saying there was some interference.
He was talking to your man Christian Slater, and Christian was like, "Excuse me, sir, you having hearing problems, mister?" That's one of the best moments of that movie, man.
You're right.
Okay, I'm having hearing problems. I'm sorry, acting captain. Captain Big Six.
To answer your question, Mike, I would say this.
Yeah.
The only reason I'm paying for CBS All Access is to watch Star Trek Discovery. There's no other CBS show that I'm paying for it. I have CBS on DirecTV anyway.
Yep.
And so I think I might just actually cancel it and pick it up again when they bring Discovery, the next season of Discovery out. We're presuming there's going to be a second season.
Oh no, it's been greenlit.
Okay, good. Well, then there you go. I'll pick it up then, because I will just be throwing money away then, for paying for an app that I'm not using for any purpose.
Are there any other shows on there original and exclusive to that platform?
I don't know.
Other than CBS content?
I mean, on the CBS content, on the CBS platform. I mean, they've got Discovery. I think they have that Good Wife spinoff, but what else is there?
I mean, they have movies on there, from what I remember, that I assume are from studios that are affiliated with CBS. But I didn't see any movies that I couldn't get on Netflix that I'm already paying for.
Oh,
right.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, when Supergirl was on CBS, was she on CBS or ABC?
CBS.
Okay. That would have been a second show I would have watched, but I can get that on Hulu. So
I'm just looking here. So let's see. The Big Brother Over the Top is apparently you can get there. The Good Fight, No Activity, and of course Star Trek Discovery. Those are the original series to CBS All Access. I don't care about any of the other ones.
Me either. Me either.
I'm not paying for that, for 4 shows. No.
Nah.
I think the only other thing I watch on CBS is CBS This Morning with Gayle King and Nora O'Donnell. And that's a news show.
What is Norm Macdonald on TV again? Are you sure? Is this
Nora? That's funny.
Nora? Oh, okay.
Nora O'Donnell.
Bloody
I
Laura.
thought you said Norm Macdonald because I was like, hey, he was great on SNL. Come on.
Well, all right, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Our feedback on Discovery and Callister. Do you agree with us? Do you disagree with us? We kind of took a little course change into our own alternate universe. We call that universe being Westworld. Do you agree? Do you agree with Craig J., our stellar cartographer? There's a reason we shoved him in there with all those Apple products. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. And so let us know what you think. Did you like it? Did you dislike it? What do you want to see happen before the end of the series? Oh, that's going to be so painful. That's going to be so painful.
It is.
What do you want to see revealed? What did you like about Callister? What didn't you like about that? A lot of stuff happening, man. We got a lot of good stuff happening, and because, like I said earlier, they're treating this very much like J.J. Abrams treated Lost, giving us a lot of to pay off, and then we get nothing at the end. I said it.
There was payoff. They just. I agree with you. They did not wrap up every single storyline, but I thought that this is just my opinion. Is that Lost had many good seasons, not just the first season.
Well, I would agree with you on that. So there you go. All right, well, Big Sexy, let him out of the agonizer. He's okay. He's good.
I should leave him there just for liking Lost. Yeah.
Wait a minute now.
Me.
No, wait a minute. I'm gonna do a Mike Burnham on your ass, and I'm gonna get you into it. I'm gonna pin you down. I'm throwing your ass in the agonizer now. How dare you? Turn that bitch up to 10.
Yeah.
All right, we're off course again. All right, let's get out of here before I say anything else. All right, guys, later. We'll talk to you soon. Peace.
All right.
Red Shirts is not endorsed by Paramount Pictures, Viacom, or CBS. It is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. Star Trek, the Star Trek logo, and all names, pictures, and audio of Star Trek characters are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of their respective trademark and/or copyright holders.